If you're anything like me, at the beginning of the year, you set all these goals for yourself, your career, and your passion project. You start strong the first few months, but by the time we get to the middle of the year, you've either lost focus, shifted priorities, or you feel like you're on the brink of burnout. At the beginning of the year, I was so on top of my content. I was filming and editing videos weeks before they went live, but now I'm back to filming and editing the day of the upload. I'm starting to feel like there's too much to do, and it's feeling more difficult to balance my job, content, and personal life, especially when it's 95 degrees and I just want to go have fun with my friends. When I decided to make a mid-year reset, I wanted it to be a complete guide to help you get back on track, but honestly, I'm still trying to figure it out myself. So instead, I'm just going to take you along with me the next few days, and we're just going to try to figure it out together if you're down for that. I'd like to end the weekend feeling like I have a plan, or at least a better idea of how to rebalance these 3 areas. But honestly, it'll probably take more than one weekend to get my life back together. If you're new here, I'm Camilla, and on this channel, I share my career and creator journeys as I try to balance the two with my personal life and interests, and I promise to share anything helpful that I learn along the way. Every day when I sit down and open my work laptop, I have a task in mind that I'm gonna do, and then I get distracted with all the messages and emails that came through the night before. I feel like everyone does this, but yeah. That's what I just did. The task I sat down to do was wrap my head around my second half of the year work goals and development plan. This year, I'm working on a lot of projects, which is good because these are all projects that I wanted to get experience in. But I feel like for me, as I get more work to do, I get a little bit more scatterbrained and less focused on where I'm trying to go or the goals that I'm trying to achieve. And it's just what do I need to do today? And I feel like sometimes that leads to not putting enough energy into certain things and putting too much energy into other things. So I hope by clarifying my goals for the second half of the year, it'll just help me prioritize things a little bit better and figure out how much energy to put into which projects. I like that my company makes us list these goals, and we can only have 3 main goals. So I feel like that limits me from writing 10 things, which if you have watched my videos, you know I do that in my personal life, which is probably part of the issue too. So those are my work goals, what am I trying to accomplish by the end of the year for my current position. But then I also have a development plan, and for that I feel like I just need to update it because I haven't worked on it in about a year, and I've gotten a lot of experience in the last year and just have different goals that I want to achieve, or maybe even clarity on some things that I want to do. So I want to write those goals down, and so that I can make sure that I'm actually working towards them and adding development to my workflow that is gonna help me reach my next career goal. I also just feel like this year I haven't been thinking enough about my career development. And I think a part of it is that technically I'm no longer a recent college grad, and I'm moving into the next phase of my career, which is a little scary for me because I feel like as a recent college grad, my whole thing was I don't know anything and I'm just here to learn, and that's why people hired me. But now I actually have to have skills and know things and show results from things that I did, which is a little bit more scary, a little bit more pressure. But at the same time, I know I have really ambitious, aspirations for my career, and I don't want to let my fears hold me back from even writing those goals down on a piece of paper and figuring out a plan to work towards achieving them. And I'm glad I don't have to do any of this alone. I'm sure if you have a corporate job, then these are conversations that you prepare for and have with your boss, and they're meant to be conversation starters for you and your boss to flesh out a plan together and for them to help you as well. And I'm glad that I have a boss that's really invested in my development. So this is basically just me prepping to be able to discuss these goals and stuff with him in a couple of weeks. Back. It's now 7 o'clock. I'm getting ready to go out somewhere. So even though I'm doing a mid-year reset this weekend, I still am doing fun things too. And right now I'm getting ready to go to a Beyonce themed Vogue party, which I'm really excited about. Shout out to the Instagram ads. It just popped up on my Instagram. But honestly, I feel like this is part of my problem right now with trying to balance things is I do have goals and stuff, but one of my main goals right now is just having a really fun summer. And I feel especially with content, usually when it's colder, I am more locked in and stay inside and stuff. I feel like my social life and content compete a little bit because I usually like edit and film on the weekend, and that's also when I like go hang out with my friends. Sometimes it feels like they compete for my time. But honestly, I did have some social goals this year. Like I wanted to like go out more, make new friends. So it's not like this is completely not something that I wanted to do. I feel like it's just hard to balance all of my goals. Also, on top of that, I'm training for a 5K right now. And not that it's hard to balance running with my social life, but like it's hard to balance running with nightlife specifically. And also it's like where maybe before I was using my early mornings like before work to do a little bit of like content creation, maybe scripting or something, or editing. Now I'm using it to like go on a really long run. So I feel like those are all of the things that are adding to me kind of feeling like there's too much to manage right now, or that I feel like I need to figure out a better way to manage all of these things. I feel like one way I try to manage filming is like, it's not like my channel isn't that cohesive with my real life. Like I'm getting ready to go out right now and filming part of this video, and I try to do that as much as I can. And I feel like that's why vlogs help. Or like sometimes if I know I'm going out and I need to film like a sit down video, then I will like do my makeup and leave a little bit of time before I go out to like actually film. And then that way it's like kind of killing two birds in one stone a little bit, just so I don't have to do my makeup twice. Because it's Beyonce, I want to go for a little pop of colors. This little pink eyeshadow that I have. Ooh, I have some fun colors in here. I have this Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. So now it's like this little like ombre. I don't know. Some glitter like went on my cheek a little, but I'm not mad at it. But yeah, that's what I'm struggling with right now, and tomorrow we'll try to figure something out to make that a little bit easier. But tonight, I'm just gonna sing Beyonce songs at the top of my lungs on a boat with my friends.
Like spicy stuff or water?
Hi guys, I look very terrible. The party yesterday was so fun, but the thing about a boat party is you cannot leave early. Like you have to wait until they dock to leave, and they didn't dock until 2 a.m. So it took us long to get back, and I did not get much sleep last night. It's actually 5 p.m. right now, and earlier I got my nails done, which I'm really like relieved about. So I got my nails done, and then I basically came back and took a nap. So today I want to go over like my personal goals that I wrote for myself at the beginning of the year and see how I'm tracking and if any priorities have changed and stuff. So I'm gonna go through them this evening. I honestly have not looked at these goals since the beginning of the year. But before we do that, I'm gonna go to the grocery store. By the time I got back from the grocery store, put everything away and did some meal prepping, I realized it was 10 p.m. so I didn't spend as much time reflecting on my goals as I wanted to, but I did realize that I had a lot of them. If you've seen my past goal setting videos, then you know I break goals down into each area of my life: career, finance, relationships, health, culture, education, faith, and service. And while I still think it's helpful for me to reflect on each of these areas of my life, I think setting multiple goals in each area in 1 year just leads to too many goals at once. It's definitely worked for me in the past, but right now it just feels overwhelming. So what I want to do instead, after reflecting on each area, is kind of follow what I had to do for work and decide which 3 areas I want to focus on and pick one goal for each of them. Another thing I've noticed is that for the first time in a few years, I haven't even looked at my goals since I wrote them down in January. And I think that's because I haven't been translating my annual goals into monthly goals this year. For me, thinking about how to achieve a year-long goal is much more frightening than taking small steps to get closer and closer to that goal each month. But I think I just had too many goals, so breaking them down just felt like more things than I could accomplish in 30-day increments. Which also makes me think settling on just 3 goals and deciding one thing I can do each month to work towards each of them is a better strategy. And the last thing I noticed is that some of my goals were too specific or just didn't feel like they needed to be achieved anymore. For example, I'd written down that I wanted to join a volleyball team, but the reason I wrote that is because I wanted to find more adult group activities, and I've done sports in the past, so I thought finding an adult sport would be good. But in January, I couldn't couldn't have known that I would get back into running or become interested in pickleball. I actually started going on group runs this summer, which I feel like achieves what I was getting at with joining a volleyball team without actually joining a volleyball team. So I think I would rewrite that goal now to just say try some adult sports groups or clubs out. And having a little bit more vagueness in this case leaves room for how I'm sure I'll continue to grow and have surprises for the rest of the year. Overall, I feel like I'm in a less is more phase of goal setting right now, and I haven't actually found time yet to sit down and narrow down these goals. So maybe that's a part 2 of this mid-year reset, but at least I made dinner for the rest of the week. The next day, I met with my board of directors, if you will, which is really just my mom, aunt, and friend, to talk through my content goals and business strategy for the remainder of the year. We had a great conversation about the future of my channel and business, discussed different opportunities I have coming up, and got all of the logistics in order. I decided not to get into the specifics of the content goals in this blog because I realized there's probably so much information there that I could make like a behind the scenes of a content business series where I share how I set up my business, taxes for content creators, how I've navigated hiring people and getting a board of advisors in the first place, selling a product, navigating sponsorships, all of that. So if you'd be interested in that, comment, I don't know, a star emoji down below and I'll get to work on that. But otherwise, that's the end of this reset vlog. I definitely don't feel like I got my whole life sorted out, so you might see a part 2 of this, but at least I know my next steps, and that's all I could really ask for in one weekend. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one, and in the meantime, don't forget to spend time creating. Bye!